How do you feel about the Jonathan Major situation?
The Jonathan Major situation looks like he's in a pending case between some sort of domestic dispute he had going on, allegedly. I would never foresee from certain people, and it may have truth to it, it may not have any at all. So I'm kind of just waiting for that to roll out and letting all the information from that come to play. And
For sure. For everyone who doesn't know about the Jonathan Major situation, basically what happened was he was with his girlfriend at a bar, and when they were driving home in an Uber or a taxi, she saw that he was texting on his phone, and I think that she was wondering, was he texting another girl or whatever, but something happened where physical altercation happened. We don't, allegedly she's saying that he strangled her, held her, hit her, yada, yada, yada. This is allegedly. And, but he was the one who called the police. It's like we're getting new information every like almost every day on it. And he was the one who called the police. The police came and they arrested him. So.
oh wow.
Yeah, so that's sort of that's what happened. That's what I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically the short version of it. And now, even though she recounted her statements that he put his hands on her and everything, people are still pretty sketched out about it because of the text messages. If you read the text messages, they're saying that it seems like that she is, based off the text messages and based off her recounting her statements. They're saying that the text messages read as her recounting her statement. So, and apparently, according to his lawyer, there's video proof that he never put his hands on her. And of course, you have the viewpoint of the taxi driver as well, who was in the car when it happened. But unfortunately, it got worse for Jonathan Majors when the district attorney of New York City or New York decided to bring charges against him. And that's kind of that's a big deal. And
So my question is, how can they bring charges on somebody without all the information at play? Like, you can bring charges on anybody just off of hearsay, or?
It's unfortunately, depending on what state you live in and depending on where you are, if there's enough, if the district attorney of any city feels like that there is enough evidence against you to bring charges against you, no matter what the victim says,
Right.
the alleged victim, even if they feel like they have enough proof, they will bring charges against you.
And so bringing charges against someone doesn't mean those charges stick with that person.
No, it doesn't mean that he's guilty. It doesn't mean that he's innocent, but it doesn't look good. It's basically what I'm trying to say.
Right. And guys, Today we're in a war of public perception more so than we are about anything else.
Yes.
Right. Your reputation is everything. You're changing the economic situation of your family. The last thing you want is for that to be all torn down with some sort of dispute.
And unfortunately, when it rains, it pours, because two directors came out and spoke, two named directors. You know how a lot of comments that people make about other people are usually anonymous? Well, two directors or two people that work with Jonathan Majors came out and spoke very negatively against him. I don't believe that they're true. I'm not bringing this up because I believe that they're true, but I think it just goes to show you how it feels like that the system is trying to bring him down. And I think the biggest thing that we can take away from this, outside of reputation, like Chad was saying, as far as your personal life, right? Because in business, you're always going to have enemies. What did 50 Cent say? If you're not having enemies, you're not doing something right. That's going to happen. I think that without the whole stuff with his girlfriend, if those two directors was just to come out and say what they did, we wouldn't even be talking about this right now. It's not that big of a deal. In my opinion, it's your personal life that's more important. And who you decide to surround yourself with, who you decide to be around on a constant basis, will definitely impact who you are as a person, whether that brings drama into your life or not as well. Because I'm not trying to speak negatively about the alleged victim or anything, but obviously they have, I'm not saying this isn't the first time this happened, but they had to have problems leading up to this.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's all about vetting who you allow in your circle and vetting who you allow in your life in general because, you know, because that affects your reputation, guilty by association, yada, yada, yada. But
Right.
I also feel like who you let into your personal life, who you decide to be in your circle is just as crucial as protecting your reputation because they always say that you're defined by the 5 people you hang around the most or who you spend the most time with.
If you're around 4 miserable people, they want to make you the 5th.
Yep, misery loves company.
And oh yeah, misery loves pity parties. They'll love to have you sign up. So, you will misery loves company, right? And if you're not part of that misery, you will be sworn in based off the people you surround yourselves with. And it's sad it's that way. It's been that way since humankind has been here.
It's human nature.
It's human nature. It's almost, I would say it's mammal nature. It's animal nature. The one that appears to have the resources, the one who appears to have a life that's a little bit more smooth sailing, whether it is or not, it's all based on perception. You're going to have this disease that's been around since the beginning of time, start to brew up in those around them. It's called envy. And the only way to escape envy is to limit your interactions with those who feel like they're shorted. You can give someone every dime that you're worth, but if you still have more notoriety than them, then they might find that still threatening. And it's just, you got to make sure that you're around people who are okay seeing you happy, okay seeing you win, okay seeing you do well. And a lot of times, the person in your relationship is not happy with seeing you do that.
Exactly. And, it's unfortunate that this is happening to Jonathan Majors because as black men ourselves, we want to see black men thrive.
Absolutely.
Especially in this industry.
Absolutely.
Which has constantly put black men in a certain stereotype or has betrayed black men and black women as well in certain negative stereotypes. So seeing this happen to him when he's like literally at his peak, it's frustrating. It makes me mad because the system's coming after him, yada yada yada, whatever. Alleged victim. We don't know if he's guilty or innocent. We don't really know him.
Right. We don't. No.
We don't. We only know him from interviews, from what other people have said, from the way that he carries himself when we see him on camera. But it's
Right.
just, I just hope that all the stuff is false, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people are hoping that all this stuff is false.
I hope it's false too.
It is best not to jump to conclusions either, as well, on either side.
It's easier said than done. As humans, we do have an innate instinct to trust information that can threaten our safety. And so if we have 10 people in a group and one person is accused of stealing or one person in the group is accused of hurting somebody, the other 9 will maneuver differently around, let's say the other 8 will maneuver differently around that one person, even though person number 9 is the one who made that rumor about person number 10.
Yeah, it's all about accusations, right?
Because we have this innately as humans, as all species roaming the planet, we want to increase our chance of survival, and we don't want to put ourselves at risk for any chance or for any reason. It's crazy, and it blows my mind. It just blows my mind. And that's what I want to say for actors in general, talent in general, entertainers in general, corporations, everybody. If Will Smith could have built a career so deliberately and so intentionally, and nearly throw it all away in a 15-second interval. Don't let your ego get so big that makes you think that your career can't crumble under 5 seconds of
Yes.
a bad moment, under 2 seconds of a misstep.
Nobody's safe.
Nobody's safe in those regards. You're not safe to make mistakes. If you are a black entertainer, you're absolutely not safe to have missteps, not safe to have public mistakes. Make sure your circle is tight. Make sure people you're around are people worthy of your presence, you're worthy of theirs. I think Meek Mill said it best. Once you stop feeding your wolves, they put you on the menu.
And I think that also reflects real life as well, because I've been getting a lot of good feedback from my coworkers saying, hey man, you're doing a good job. And a guy who I'm really close to is like, hey man, you're doing really good. Don't get a big ego. Don't let it get to your head, because that's where you're going to start to fall if you let it get to your head. Just do your job, go home. It's not that big of a deal. And so I feel like not only is that advice for black actors or black entertainers, that's also good advice for especially black men in everyday life.
Yeah, everyday life, absolutely. You can think about, and you can say men as a whole. Obviously, we're focused, and our target audience is our people. Okay, yeah, target audience is our people. But we're gonna continue this conversation. It's a very important one, guys. Protect your reputation at all costs, and I hope that justice is served. If there's justice that needs to be served, it's Black Hollywood.